Okay, so I am here with Michelle that just wrapped up Be Seen, working with me for 12 weeks. Can you share with us what was going on with your wardrobe, your confidence, all of the things before we started working together?
I think I had just kind of gotten into a rut. And I think part of it is, moving up in my job in different corporations, like the higher you get, maybe the more conservative or kind of, I'm going to say a little bit stuffy it tends to get. And then I think COVID hit and everybody was working from home, and that really never kind of let up for me. And then I got into a clothing rut with some boring, sad clothes, the all black wardrobe and or the only what's on camera wardrobe, and I really needed an overhaul to kind of rethink and rework what was going on.
Yeah, can't tell you how many times I hear that. What would you feel was the biggest shift that you had when we started doing the work together?
So I was think inherently I kind of have like a funky style. Like I do like a lot of color, and I thought maybe that was going to be too loud or maybe that it was unprofessional. And I think it actually worked out that I can lean into that to differentiate myself. Otherwise, you're just another person in a black suit at the conference. I mean, you don't need to look sloppy, but I can have my colored accessories or even things that before I would have said were mismatched. Maybe I misunderstood that, and now I'm really happy being able to wear color and kind of be a little different than everybody else.
Okay, I can't unforget our first conversation that we had together, and you told me how packing for conferences used to be torture and that it used to basically have some sleepless nights for you. So, can you kind of share with us? Because I'm sure people can relate because I hear it all the time. Can you share with us what happens now when you have to go and travel for work?
Absolutely. So, unlike guys, I still don't understand them. I can't pack a khaki pair of pants and a shirt. Like that's never been a thing. And so that would force me to pack multiple suits, whether it's like a black suit, a navy suit, and then I am 6 foot tall and I have size 13 shoes. So then I'd have to have the footwear to go with each one. And it was this massive, like 50-pound suitcase and making sure I had all the pieces. And it was just, if anything didn't make it, or if I don't know, got anything on something, like it was just, you're not going to find my shoes or clothes wherever you're at in your conference to replace either. So it just used to stress me out so much. And I've had that happen. Like when I was in Arizona, like I wanted to do something and I ripped a jacket sleeve. I can't get another one. So with this new system, I have pieces that relate to each other, if that makes sense. They're not one to one this suit and it only goes with these shoes. They're kind of in a family of things that go together. So even if I did have an issue with one of the shirts or I notice there's a hole in it, whatever, it wouldn't matter because I have another one that still goes with the theme that I'm bringing with me for the conference. So there's just such a load off versus like I've traveled to a place and something happens and I literally am going to look bizarre or unput together. Um, and even if I would lose a piece or it would wear out, I could replace it because it would just go in with the, I'm going to say color family and shoes. I don't even have to bring, if it's a 4-day conference, maybe I only need one pair of shoes, maybe two on the outside. It's just a lot less. I went with, I think, a 32-pound suitcase last time, and I was so excited. I have to break my back to load it into the Uber.
Oh, I love that so much. Now, one of the things that you shared, and I know one of the things that we had conversations about was kind of what is what are the guys wearing or what's successful or kind of like what that sort of like corporate armor is. And
Mhm.
now you're definitely dressing differently. What do you feel had a shift for you in order for you to actually feel confident being able to not dress like what everyone else is wearing?
So I think it was just kind of finding pieces that would work, first of all. And like I said, suits were kind of the go-to because that is a thing a lot of folks wear. And I went to a conference in December, and even my boss made a comment because he's not used to going to this kind of area. And he said, wow, everybody here is in a suit. in a tie if they're a guy. I said, they are. And I mean, I think I get a little more leeway. I don't have to wear a tie, but I had on kind of like almost like this color, like a pink, um, cardigan, and my pants were pink, but they had like black stripes on them. But it looked very professional and put together because, like we've talked about, I understood and I had brought the accessories and it kind of all worked. So it looked very polished. And I was like, that's fine. And I probably was one of maybe 5 people out of 120 that weren't just kind of wearing a black or a navy suit. And I was fine with it. And I thought I actually kind of looked cool. Looked like I was going to a funeral.
I love that. And I think that that's one of the big things is you internally being fine and being safe, as opposed to a lot of those times in the situation where it's like, did I get this wrong? Everyone else is wearing something else, but what you did the work to really figure out what your own system was. So you weren't kind of using the external to make it like, well, what they're doing is right. What I'm doing is wrong. You actually know what you're doing is inherently right for you. So I know a question that kind of comes up in a lot of my clients' minds is, this I've done so many things, like, or like I've spent a lot of money buying clothes or like all of that. How can you, like, what is different about this? Like, what do you feel like is different from anything that you've ever done before?
I think before it even, when I would go shopping, I would get a bunch of things and I would like hope some of them would work. And then I would come home and I would stare at them and try to figure out how they worked. And I will ruminate, and I'm not good at returning stuff once that happens because I'm still trying to figure out if I can make it work. I'm very good at problem solving in my job, but not in my wardrobe. So then it just kind of leads into like a paralysis where I have a lot of things and I don't know how they fit together. And eventually I end up donating them or whatever. So it all is a little bit pointless. Whereas now I feel like I shop, say this, like I feel like I shop less. And when I like before I might have put in like, I don't know, 10 plus things when I would do like an online order. And now I think like I literally just bought two. Like I needed two things because I needed a pair of pants and I needed a different jacket. Like that's what I went for, that's what I got, and then I left. And I knew that I needed them, so I knew exactly where they went when I got home. That's just a lot less stress too.
Yeah. I think that it's so interesting because I work with a lot of like overachievers. It's like almost like I need to figure this out sort of thing. And it's like you can't think your way out of this. You actually need to like have a system that works for you as opposed to kind of like trying to come in the middle of it and just like trying to band-aid it together. What would you say to anyone who is on the fence about doing this work, and unsure if it's the right thing for them?
I mean, everybody has to evaluate their own situation, but I think just from like, I have enough mental load, I think we've heard that term lately, in my life, and that can't be the hard thing that I have to do every day before I get up and go to work, which should really be the hard thing. So just kind of like taking that off my plate, or even like when I travel, has been just a big relief for me. And also, I'm going to say not wasting additional money on clothing. Like nobody wants to waste money in the first place, but if I had all the money back for all the things that I bought that I thought I could work in that never worked out, and I may have never even worn them before I donated them, like it probably pays for itself. And when I factor that in with the fact that I'm so much happier, I'm kind of embracing what I wanted to do in the first place, but I wasn't sure if I could. To me, it's worth it to just not have to deal with all of the rest of that.
I love that so much. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for giving people permission, because I think that that's what some of us are just looking for, is the permission to be us.
Absolutely. That's kind of priceless. And like I said, every day I get up and I'm going into work happy, looking the way that I want to look. And I think it really sets the tone differently too. So it's kind of great.
I love that so much. Thank you so much for sharing this. I really, really appreciate it.